Welcome to a Monday edition of AutoWeek TV. Here's a look at what you need to know in our automotive world. General Motors is looking to take the GMC brand into a higher luxury realm. Chevy and GMC trucks share the same basic components, but GM has tried to put a premium spin on GMC with its professional-grade marketing. But GM North America boss Mark Royce says GM has let the line between Chevy and GMC get blurred. He sees potential in expanding the Denali package and using it to have GMC better compete against luxury brands. Linda Vaughn, best known as the iconic Miss Hurst Golden Shifter, is recovering from recent heart surgery to clear out blockage in her arteries. Prior to the operation, Vaughn said, "I'm tired of feeling low speed." For 3 decades, Vaughn's looks and charm were as much of an attraction at the racetrack as any of the high-powered machines of the times. Vaughn was named the SEMA Person of the Year in 1979 and was inducted into the SEMA Hall of Fame in 1985. Go to AutoWeek.com for the address to send get well wishes to Linda. Okay, it's time for the roundup of the weekend's racing action. Feel free to take a break if you haven't watched that TiVo'd race yet. Sebastian Vettel cruised to victory in the Turkish Grand Prix. That gives him 3 wins in the first 4 F1 races of the season. And Sebastian Loeb won the WRC Rally d'Italia after a dominating performance. In NASCAR, Regan Smith held off Carl Edwards, even though he was running on old tires, to claim the first Sprint Cup win of his career at Darlington Raceway. But the hottest action was the latest go-around in the feud between Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick on pit road after the race. Finally for today, correspondent Phil Berg takes us on a tour of the garage of Pat Finney, a Northern California restaurateur, vintage racer, and car nut.
Hi, this is Phil Berg for AutoWeek's Reader's Garage. Today we're at the home garage of Pat Finney, a vintage racer, car nut, and restaurateur who hosts the informal annual AutoWeek staff dinner at the Monterey Area Car Week in California every August. Finney's restaurant is filled with automotive memorabilia, and that attracts the hardcore visitors from the Monterey Peninsula car events, which range from the world-famous historic races, old car rallies, and million-dollar auctions. Finney's a true car addict. First, he can drive, having raced his quick Super V on the same tracks and at the same times as the Indy cars of the mid-'80s. He's driven hot laps with the likes of Didier Thays, Arie Luyendyk, Chip Robinson, and Ludwig Heimrath Jr., all stars of the racing era around 25 years ago. Finney started racing Formula Fords in 1979, but always as an advanced amateur. Dig inside of Finney's psyche and you'll see the experience stirred a curiosity of drivers from the past, especially from Indy cars after the Great Depression in the early 30s. Back then, Duesenbergs were supercars, and many racers used Duesenberg engines. Finney has 2 of these remarkable old racers. Other racers of the era are a bit more obscure, such as the ARE cars from Albert R. Endes of Kankakee, Illinois, and when the Duesenberg brothers were working for a company called Meteor Motors and produced 4-cylinder engines for racing. Curtis Craft cars also fascinate Finney, especially those from the mid-50s, and Finney can recite the details of the car's performances at Indianapolis as well as any of motorsport's better-known historians. Finney also likes bikes, partly because he can find space for them inside his restaurants easier than he can find space for cars. We believe that the average Bennigan's chain restaurant patron won't appreciate the single-cylinder Ariel that was hand-painted by famous hot rod pinstriper Von Dutch, nor the '75 Triumph Hurricane that local bike guru Craig Vetter designed. Both of these bikes show up at Finney's restaurants as decorations for his discerning customers. Finney's large 20-car garage is an L-shaped building that he constructed 6 years ago because he wanted his cars closer to his home. He also wanted storage and a small shop area where he could get his hands dirty and keep his historically special cars in running shape. That's important because living in the country allows Finney to drive some of his antique race cars on local roads, which is the most fun he's admitted to having lately. When we imagine Finney driving not only his classic street cars, from a '34 Chrysler Airflow sedan to his trio of Packards, to his '66 Mustang and '65 Alfa Romeo Giulia, we see he's having the most fun of his life. For AutoWeek's Reader's Garage, this is Phil Berg.
Thanks, Phil. Before we leave, here's a belated happy birthday to NASCAR driver Bobby Labonte, who turned 47 on Sunday. That's it for today. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, enjoy the drive.
Thanks for watching today's edition of AutoWeek TV. Be sure to catch all the latest car enthusiast news on AutoWeek.com, in AutoWeek magazine, and in AutoWeek's iPad edition.